Hi everybody, I hope you guys are doing awesome today. Today what we're going to do is show you how to start playing some awesome improvised solos up and down the neck. What I'm going to do is take some very familiar pentatonic shapes that some of you probably already know, but then I'm going to add a couple extra bits to that. I'm going to add some extra color notes to it. Instead of being stuck in one position, we're going to go up and down the fretboard. And this is going to give you guys some whole new avenues to play, and I promise you it's going to be a light bulb moment for a lot of you. It's something I started using years ago, and it just gives me more note options and more places to play and stuff that I can even repeat sometimes. Let's get started on this today. My name is Shane. Here we go. So this is going to be in the key of C major. So what we're going to do is play over a backing track a couple times. Check it out, it's by T Guitar, it's linked down below here. So the chords are going to be a 1, 6, 4, 5. So in C major, what that means is we're going to have a C chord, A minor, F, and G. What we're going to do is play the C major pentatonic scale, but I'm going to show it to you a little bit differently. So what we're going to do is we're going to find here on the 8th fret, this is our C note. So we're going to play this right here. So this is also A minor pentatonic, which is the relative minor of C, so that's why it works. So a lot of people call this A minor pentatonic. In this context, we're calling it C major pentatonic because our root note is right here. So what we're going to do is then show you how to start playing up the neck this way. So towards the nut right here. So essentially what we're going to do is I'm going to show you a couple different cool little boxes. So you guys probably already know this one really well. Right here, right? So the notes here are going to be E, and then G, A, and C, because this is our root, C major. So what if I told you you could move it back up this way? So if you guys look at this little box right here, or basically on the 5th fret, this is an equator, what I like to call it. So it allows us to move back up the neck or down the neck. So essentially what we have is we have this. What if we take this and invert it up here? What that's going to do is give us a whole new avenue to play and give us some new cool options. So for an example, let's get back to this. So if I play this right here, here's our C note. All we have to do is find the C note up here on this 5th fret. And in this case, it's going to be on the G string. This is our C note. Check this out. Exactly the same thing. So what it is right here, E, G, so E, G, A, C, and then here's a C right here also. this is actually a piece of a bigger scale, but we're going to get to that in a second. Basically, anything you play here it's going to work. So then check this out. What if we do right here? Okay, so what if we do this right here? This is still in our C major pentatonic position, right? Okay, so then we've got this. So these are going to be the notes D, E, G, and A. You guys already know this, right? Well, let's just move it right here, because all we got to do is then find an A note. An A note right here. And here's our little box. So we've got D, E, G, and A. So now what we're doing is we're actually building the C major pentatonic scale again in this other position. So this is always a little controversial on what the position names are, but in this context, technically C major starts here. That would be first position. Then this would be fifth position. Then this other one I'm getting ready to show you would be fourth position with the C major pentatonic scale. So if we already have these two pieces that I just showed you, what we also will then add is these notes here. So we got G, A, C, and D. So what this does is this gives us two different positions to play across the equator. So if we play our little licks here, those are the two cool shapes. All sounds the same and cool, and then we have this other little box here. What I'm doing is just a half semitone bend. A little bit fast, but it works really well. And then anything you do, it's here too. So it's like interchangeable, flipped and inverted. I mean, guys, this thing's awesome. So here's our G. Move the G here. So this is out of the sliding pentatonic scale that I showed you guys just my last video. If you missed that, check it out on the card above. So here's what we've got. Now we have this whole scale. That would be our position, right? That's going to be position 4, C major pentatonic. Position 5. So now we have these cool shapes to play. So now what we're going to do is show you some extra color notes that you can add to this. So technically we've been talking about the pentatonic scale, right? So we can actually talk about the whole note scale. Pentatonic is 5 notes, Whole major scale would be 7 notes, right? So what if we do this and we make a hybrid scale out of this thing? This is when it gets really cool. So you'll notice in the pentatonic scale, we're missing a couple of crucial notes, right? So over our chord progression, we have the C, which these are going to be triads. Let me show you this real quick. So here's a C triad. So you can play a whole solo off of this just by using these triads. C, and then the 6th chord A minor, and then the 4 chord would be F, and then the 5 chords G. Okay, so going back to this, if you notice what we're missing is a couple of key notes. We're missing this note. This is a major third of G. This is going to be B. We're also missing this note. This is F. F is really important because it's in the key of C major, and so is B. So what we need are these notes. So check this out. So go back up here to this position, right? Here we go. So we're going to add some color notes to it. So we got C, D, E. Here it is. Color note F. And then right here we've got G. So that sounds more like a whole tone major scale, C major scale. Well, what that allows us to do is some cool slides. So what I'm doing is hammering on. What it also gives us, if we continue up the scale, so we've got, then right here we've got our A here also, but it's here. So we're going to go A, skip the 3rd, go to the 4th. This is going to be a B note, and then C. So that gives us that major 3rd sound we want with a G chord, right? So what we've got, the whole thing. And then we can add the G and the A. And then here's our C note. So, example again. We can also extend that down to here. So if this is our F note right here, right? Here's an F, here's an F. So right here we can play this. That gives us some really cool mileage because then we add this F and now we have more things to play. You can also play the F back here, but that gets into another scale. So we've taken the C major pentatonic scale, moved it back to this position, and then added whole notes to it. You can do the same thing with this position, but I really like to do it here because it adds new flavors. We can kind of do a half tone bend up to that. You can do the same thing here, because that's going into here. The next cool thing we can do is we can do a flat 5. So right up here we can add this, so we've got D, E flat, E, or D sharp, however you want to look at it. And then this one up here I really like. So what you can do is a lot of cool little slides on them. So this gives us a whole new avenue and different things to play. So I like to do hammer-ons to it. This is one of my favorite licks to do. It's nice and slow. A lot of hammer-ons and a lot of slides. So got to do it kind of fast, because when you're hammering on to the flat 5, it kind of sounds really weird if you don't resolve the note. If you resolve the note, all good. If you just leave it there, you're going to sound a little off. Could also do it here. Another awesome thing you can do is notice we can move this whole thing all the way down here. We can move this sucker all the way up to the 17th fret. Right? And then we can play this box here, starting here on the 15th fret. We can add these notes that we want to play, so okay, that's it for this lesson. I hope you guys really enjoyed it. You got something out of it. Remember, find your equator spot here whenever you're playing this box, this simple, normal pentatonic box that you guys already know, and then move it down the fretboard or up, however you want to say it. But that's going to give you some new avenue to play. Check out some other videos I've done here. We'll see you guys later. Have a great day. Bye-bye.